This is the story of the snail and the whale. This is a tale of a tiny snail and a great big grey blue humpback whale. And this is a rock as black as soot, and this is a snail with an itchy foot. This is a sea snail slithered all over the rock and gazed at the sea and the ships and the dock. And as she gazed, she sniffed and sighed. The sea is deep and the world is wide. How I long to sail, said the tiny snail. These are the other snails in the flock, who all stuck tight to the smooth black rock, and said to the snail with the itchy foot, be quiet, don't wriggle, sit still, stay put. But the tiny sea snail sighed and sniffed and cried, I've got it, I'll hitch a lift. This is the trail of the tiny snail, whose silvery trail that looped and curled and said, lift wanted around the world. This is the whale who came one night when the tide was high and the stars were bright, a humpback whale immensely long, who sang to the snail a wonderful song. Oh, of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves. And this is the tale of the humpback whale who held his tail out of the starlit sea and said to the snail, come sail with me. This is the sea so wild and free that carried the whale and the snail on his tail to towering icebergs and far-off lands with fiery mountains and golden sands. These are the waves that arched and crashed, that foamed and frolicked and sprayed and splashed the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And these are the caves beneath the waves where stripy fish with feathery fins, the sharks with hideous toothy grins swam round the whale and the snail on his tail. Oh, this is the sky so vast and high, sometimes sunny blue and warm, sometimes filled with a thunderstorm, with zigzag lightning flashing and frightening the tiny snail on the tail of the whale. And as she gazed at the sky and the sea and the land, the waves and the caves and the golden sand, she gazed and gazed, amazed by it all, and she said to the whale, I feel so small. But then came the day when the whale lost his way. These are the speedboats running a race and zigging and zooming all over the place, upsetting the whale with their ear-splitting roar and making him swim too close to the shore. And this is the tide slipping away, and this is the whale lying beached in a bay. Quick off the sand and back to the sea, cried the snail. I can't move on land, I'm too big, moaned the whale. The snail felt helpless and terribly small, and I've got it, she cried, and started to crawl. I must not fail, said the tiny snail. And this is the bell on the school in the bay, ringing the children in from their play. And this is a teacher holding her chalk and telling the class it still don't talk. This is the board of the black as soot, and this is a snail with the itchy foot. A snail, the teacher turns pale. Looks like the children, it's leaving a trail. And this is the trail of the tiny snail, a silvery trail saying, save the whale. These are the children running from school and fetching a fireman, digging a pool, squirting and spraying to keep the whale cool. And this is the tide coming in from the bay, and these are the villagers shouting hooray, and the whale, the snail, and travelled safely away. And back to the dock and the flock on the rock, who said, how time's flown and haven't you grown? And the whale and the snail told their wonderful tale of shimmering ice and coral caves and shooting stars and enormous waves, and how of the snail so small and frail, with a looping curly silvery tail, saved the life of the humpback whale. And the humpback whale held out his tail, and on crawled snail after snail after snail. And they sang to the sea as they all set sail on the tail of the grey blue humpback whale. Hooray!